Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I will be fixing the hinge as well as replacing the back cover on this Dell laptop. As you can see, the back cover broke off from the hinge, so it makes it more difficult for the laptop to open and close. Now, just to start off, I want to say that this is not really an easy repair. I would call it like kind of more of an expert level repair, maybe out of a scale of 1 through 10. This is maybe like a 7 or 8, It's not that bad for me because I've done so many of them already. So I have the experience that goes along with doing these. So let's get into it. I just took off the back cover. I took off all of the screws holding in the back cover. There's some clips holding in the back. You kind of have to take a jimmy tool from iFixit. You can get it directly from the website or from Amazon. It makes it a lot easier to take off the back cover and a lot of other parts that are on the laptop. So now here I am unscrewing the hinge screws. As you see, there's 2 hinges and I'm taking out all the screws that are holding them in. And then before that, I took out the antennas that are attached to the Wi-Fi card. So these have to come out because these are attached to the screen, and you will see later how I'll take them out. The cable that's close to my hand now is the screen cable. That's basically the LCD cable. You have to disconnect that. And before that, earlier I disconnected the battery. So now as you see, I got the screen separated from the body, and now I'm going to start removing the bezel from the screen. So my goal is to get the LCD, the display, out of this back cover so we can basically transplant it into the new back cover. The top half comes out pretty easy. You can get this spudger tool from iFixit. You can kind of just put it in between and then the clips will separate apart from the screen. But the bottom half is something that you might have a little trouble with. You're going to need some heat because there's adhesive holding in that bottom to the LCD. So I'm using a heat gun here to loosen up that adhesive so I can put this tool in to separate the bezel and the LCD so I can take it out slowly. You don't want to put too much heat because then you'll risk burning the LCD and that will do permanent damage, and then you're looking at more cost for the repair. I wouldn't say this is necessarily a tutorial, but this is more of like a walkthrough on the repair, and how maybe hard or easy it can be, so you guys can see if you ever wanted to try it yourself, because this repair is very common. I do get a lot of them, and then on my last video as well, I got a lot of comments and interactions about people saying of how their hinge was broken. And the hinge is not necessarily broken. The hinge breaks off from the back cover, and it happens because it gets folded too hard or it gets dropped, and then the hinge separates from the back cover, causing it not to fold properly as it once was. The hinges themselves don't really ever break. Those are like metal. They never really do break at all. I never have to ever usually replace the hinges, but as you see here, the left side is completely gone. Like the rivets on the screen on the back cover are completely gone, so there's nothing to screw into. So if there's nothing to screw into, then the hinge can't fold, and therefore you're going to lose support when you fold the screen upward or downward. So now here I'm getting to remove the LCD. There's tape, as you see, this long tape. You basically need some tweezers to roll it, and then you can pull it, and then the tape comes out, and then the LCD folds upward. This part is a little tricky, but it's alright. The front camera cable is attached to the LCD as well, and there's some plastic holding it in. So I'm basically using a blade to cut that plastic and separate the camera from the back cover. After the LCD and the camera is removed, I can start removing these 2 antennas that connect to the Wi-Fi card that you saw earlier at the beginning of the video. There's some black tape holding in both antennas on each side. I basically take off the black tape and then I remove the antennas, but I also keep the black tape because I'm going to transfer it over to the new back cover. These antennas are very fragile. You do have to be careful with them. Take your time, because once they rip, there's really no going back. With these type of repairs, you definitely need a lot of patience. If you don't have the patience, then you should build it up. Start from more simpler repairs and then work your way up. If you try to do this from the beginning, or if it's one of your first few repairs, I wouldn't recommend it. You can try it. There's no harm in trying it, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you guys have any questions, you could always comment in the video below. I always usually reply quick. If you have any questions or any ideas, if you wanted to do it on your own, or if your laptop is a different model, if you have any questions about that, you could always comment below. So now the big two long brackets you see that I just took out, these are like the back cover support. They basically attach to the hinge and they help the screen fold upward and downward. So these have to come out as well. And everything I'm taking out is going to be transplanted into the new back cover. And here it is. This is the new back cover. They are pretty cheap. You can get them on Amazon or maybe eBay, depending on the model. This one that I got came with the hinges. I will most likely be using the old hinges from the original back cover because it's like a more better OEM fit. I have to remove these hinges because I have to put the metal bracket that you saw me take out like a minute ago first, and then I'll be putting the hinges in. And obviously this is the black tape that holds in the antennas. So after the two brackets are in, I can go back and put the antennas in. And this antenna has to be routed through like a little hole. You have to make sure it's in that hole because that was the same way that it came out from the old back cover. And then after that, I'm going to put it back in the tape where it originally was, the black tape. This is the other antenna. I'm basically going to do the same thing. And then after these are in, I'm going to route them on the bottom like column of the back cover. Or you can call it cable management. They have to be in place, you'll see in a minute, because the LCD has to sit right with them. If it's not seated right, then there's going to be like a gap or like a bulge, the LCD can stick out, and that would cause more room for damage later on, and you would not want that. So this is what I was talking about. You just have to feed the cables through this column here on the bottom. And now I can finally put in the hinges and then screw them in. Here I'm putting tessa tape for the LCD. This is double-sided tape. Basically make sure that the LCD is going to be held in place so it never falls out. Now the LCD and the front camera can go back in the same exact way they came out from the old back cover. And now the bezel can go back in. This also has some tape on it as well. Alright, the bezel snapped in, and now I'm going to be putting the Hinge plastic covers back on. And guys, we're almost done here. Now this part, I can take the top case of the laptop and screw it back to the hinges and then basically connect back the screen. So I'm going to be folding it halfway because it makes it a little easier, and then I'm going to be screwing it in, and then I can just lay it back down. And now I'm going to be putting the LCD cable in and then routing the antennas back exactly the same way they were when I took them out. And then out here I'm plugging in the battery, and then I'm going to be putting on the back cover with all the screws, and that's it, guys. If you guys have any questions, once again, you could always comment below, or you can email me if you have any questions at all about this repair. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you guys found any value at all in this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions about the tools that I use, you can always comment below. I always love helping people out if they always want to do their own repairs. And don't forget to like and subscribe.